Intrepid or a different one? Oh, a little bit of collision there. Careful, 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 careful. Just the backside. Ooh, scraping. A little bit of hesitation before they touch down. Are they using an auto land? They better not be using an auto land. Nope. And yep. Oh no. Actual VTOLs coming in. Oh no, a little bit of collision. Your gunner is just rotating in place. That means your gunner is AFK. Yep, there it is. VTOLs, let's see how they rotate. Rotation and push off. Looking good. Welcome, pilots. My name is Hybrid V, and we are back once again to watch your takeoff and landings here in Star Citizen. This time, we're here at the smoggy city of Lorville on Hurston. Now, if you're a first-time watcher, quick recap. What we do here on this show is we watch players come and go from the various spaceports and space stations of Star Citizen, and I give them a rating out of 10 based on how cinematic and smooth their landings or takeoffs are. In this case in point here, we have a Terrapin on approach. What we're looking for in these landings is smooth, controlled descents. Using VTOL where applicable, so for example, that Terrapin over there has VTOLs, as well as this Intrepid in front of us has VTOLs. We also want to make sure that none of our players here are colliding with the hangars or anything like that. There's no stair-step action, no keyboard catting as they come in, and also making sure, just as important, that they pull their gear down right before they touch down. Because if you watch any type of sci-fi media, you can see that dead Intrepid there. Player here has the same skin. I'm wondering if it's the same Intrepid or a different one. Oh, a little bit of collision there with the hangar on their way in. Ooh. And the hangar's going to bug out, so we're not going to see the entire sequence here. But yeah, gear out right before they touch down, because when you see sci-fi media of ships landing, you'll generally see them pull the gear out right before they land. I know a lot of people always say, well, that's not how it happens in real life. Planes have their gear out well before they land. We're not talking about planes here. We're talking about sci-fi fantasy, basically, is what we're talking about here. And in sci-fi fantasy and sci-fi media, they always pull the gear down right before they touch down, just because it looks cool. It looks awesome. We have a Zeus here that is down. Now, I have a suspicion as to why all these dead ships are here. It could be that the server might be a little bit bad today. Usually, as players fly towards a planet and then the server stalls, that's usually a big killer of players. We have a Wolf on approach. I was going to give a rating to that Terrapin, but I couldn't see the full sequence. And that Intrepid, unfortunately, had an impact. And you guys know I always start with a 5 once you have an impact, and I start going down from there. Early gear activation, no VTOL usage, and like I said, that collision, plus there was a little bit of hesitation there, so that's going to be about a 4 out of 5. Let's see how this Wolf does. Gear already coming out. I can already see the little fin coming back in. Let's see a shadow of something behind me. I'll take a look at it in a second. A little bit of hesitation before they land and touch down, and yeah, some stair-step action right before they touch down. So we have early gear deployment, some stair-step action here, a lot of hesitation. So this will probably be like a 6 out of 10. Decent, but it could be better. Some mole here landing with their miner on the front, kind of burning everything inside the hangar with that laser. Didn't see the full sequence. You can see the VTOLs on that are also not turned. So if I was to rate that landing, I would take points away for them not using VTOLs while they land. Ooh, we got a Clipper here. Let's take a look. Let's zoom in the camera a little bit. Excuse me while I try to get us in a little bit. There we go. And we have a Clipper. Is it using VTOLs? It is not using VTOLs. Drakes are very famous for having VTOL engines on a lot of their ships. And yeah, let's see how this goes here. It's kind of he's kind of trying to kind of, I guess, line himself up. Maybe this person's landing, actually. He's not taking off. Yeah, it looks like they're landing. So this player was coming in and they're landing. I thought they were taking off. But, ooh, a little bit rough on the touchdown there. The Clipper is a funny ship. It's just like a big shoebox is what it looks like to me. I'm not going to give a rating on that one because I didn't see the full sequence in there, so I'm not going to take too much away from that. Let's see what we got over here. We have what appears to be a medium hangar opening up over here, and we have a Cutlass on deck. Cutlass with the blue and gold paint, looking very fancy. Let's see how they do on their takeoff. Cutlass does have functional VTOLs as well, and this player is choosing not to use it. Fair enough. Let's see how they do with the gear. Gear is still down, so we have a late gear retraction, no VTOL usage here, but a relatively smooth ascent there, so I would take points away for not using VTOLs and, of course, having that late gear retraction. Generally, what I look for a nice cinematic takeoff is you lift up, gear up, also making sure you had used VTOLs when you lift it up just because it looks cool, and you see that in a lot of sci-fi media. You see the engines rotating and all those animations. In Star Citizen, VTOLs aren't 100% necessary yet. It will be later when we start getting more aspects of like overheating with engines, as well as having issues with weight and stuff for your ship, so using VTOLs will help you there. But of course, I might as well just show you as a demonstration of what we're looking for, at least for a 10 out of 10 landing here. So I'm in the Golem today, and I'm going to go ahead and start beginning my descent. I'm going to use my VTOLs and rotate. You'll notice I don't have my gear out quite yet. It's because I'm going to wait until I get closer to the ground. And I'm going to slow down a little bit here, and then we're going to pull the gear out. And then the gear's fully extended, and now we can very gently buttery smooth landing. And that's what we're looking for in a 10 out of 10 takeoff. Just something like that. Very simple and very straightforward. And we have what appears to be a Cutlass on approach. Gear is already out. Let's see if we can kind of maneuver on in. They're doing a nose-in approach. No VTOLs being activated here. Let's see. Ooh, careful on the descent there. It's a little bit rapid on the descent. And a little bit of that snapping action as they come in. That definitely does take points away as well, too. You want to make sure you try to be smooth as they come in. Of course, they drop some noise. Maybe hit the wrong button there. We have a hangar opening up there. And we have appears to be a Hornet on the deck. And let's see how this takes off here. Let me adjust the camera here so we're back into our original position here. And let's see, we have, all attrition Hornet. Very nice PvE loadout there. Attritions were a little bit better in the 4.5 PTU. That's actually in PT right now, the engineering build. Before CIG kind of nerfed it when they went back to the 4.4 ammo speeds. No gear retraction. Pull the gear up. Pull the gear up. There you go. Gear is finally coming. A little bit late on the gear retraction there. So weapons like the attritions are actually pretty fun to use because it didn't matter if weapons had slow actual projectile speeds because the engagement ranges were much closer. So it meant that a lot more weapons were more viable in combat, and actually cannons were more viable as a result. CIG has decided now to revert away from that, which I'm a little bit miffed about because I like those short engagement ranges, but CIG decided to just get rid of that and go back to 4.4, which kind of sucks. I personally don't like it, but it is what it is. No VTOLs being used on that Zeus, but they did also have a late gear retraction there, as you can see. So the Hornet, late gear retraction, but nice and smooth on the way out. A little bit of hesitation there. I'd say it's probably about a 7. And then that Zeus, of course, no VTOLs being used. Late gear retraction there. Nice and smooth on the way out, though, so I would also say that's going to probably be about a 7 as well. And we have a Golem Ox, a fellow Golem enjoyer there, using VTOLs, although they were a little bit late on the VTOLs there. I do enjoy seeing them have the gear up before they left. They were just a little bit late on the takeoff, and there was a nice mail slot takeoff as well. So that would be a 9. I'll give them a 9 for that. I just wish they had the VTOLs already rotated as they were leaving. You see that raft off there. Let's go ahead and take a peek. It's pretty busy today. Normally I could be here for hours on end. We got a wolf taking off at high speed and doing a nice mail slot out. But yeah, today is pretty busy. I'm recording this, of course, on a weekend, so that would probably explain the very high pop today. But Lorville, just in general, seems to be very popular for a lot of players, and I would assume it's probably because it's got the best stations in terms of it's got guns on the station and whatnot. You can go and central if you want to do like business here. It's very centralized. It's very easy to access. So yeah, I think a lot of people like Lorville. Let's go ahead and plop ourselves up here and hang out for a second. Smooth. That's exactly what we're looking for. And a takeoff, of course, is you lift up, gear up, and then if you have VTOLs, you want to make sure you rotate at the appropriate moment and take off. And this is also how you would do a bolter with any type of VTOL ship as well. But yeah, so looking pretty popular today. Looks like things are slowing down, so I probably can cut the cameras here. Let me readjust myself back over. There we go. And we'll cut the cameras and then wait for the next round of players to show up and see what we get. All right, we have what appears to be a medium hangar or a large hangar. Actually, I think this is, yeah, this would be a large hangar. This is a Hull C getting ready for takeoff here. Hull C does actually have VTOLs. Funnily enough, they're actually going to be on the front cockpit section of the Hull C. Let's see how this one takes off here. A little bit of hesitation off the pad, but looking good so far. Gear is still down. Now I'm going to go slightly lower than normal here because I want to see if those VTOLs are active. So you see that kind of like bulbous section right in front of the gear there that's sticking out underneath the actual cockpit. That's actually the VTOLs. There's these slats that open up, and you'll see thrusters that can actually fire down there. That's where the VTOLs are on the actual Hull C, and it's not active here. We have a little bit of a late gear retraction here. No VTOL usage, so I'll take a couple of points there. Also, a little bit of hesitation there. So I'm going to say it's about, could be a 7, but I'm going to really say that's kind of a 6, because you can really easily take off pretty nicely with a whole seat. It could be a lot better, honestly. It was just a lot of hesitation that kind of killed it for me. Let's see, Raft taking off here. Gear is still down, and no VTOLs being used as well too. The gear is still down on their way out. Again, the reason why gear is so important is because, again, what we're looking for here is not technically anything, you know, about technical how takeoff and landings are here. We're looking for cinematic or smooth takeoff and landings that look really, really nice, and we want to rate those individuals. In this case, when you have your gear down, it's like when you walk out of the bathroom with toilet paper stuck to your shoe. You know, it's kind of embarrassing. It doesn't look right, right? So at the end of the day, I'll take points away. That's also going to be a 6 as well. Ooh, we got a 1%er taking off here from this 890 jump. Let's see how it handles. 890 jump, interestingly, does not have VTOLs. I don't own an 890, so I can't 100% confirm that, but I'm 99% sure the actual 890 jump does not have VTOLs, although nice gear retraction before they left the air shield on the hangar, so I love seeing it. Everything's very smooth so far. Looking good here. Very, very nice, and away they go. This would basically be a 10 out of 10 takeoff. It's very easy if you don't have VTOLs. There's a lot less steps you have to worry about. All I really want to see in a takeoff is making sure the gear is up before you leave that air shield, making sure you're smooth, and if you have VTOLs, make sure you rotate them appropriately before you leave. All right, let's bring her back around here, and we have what appears to be a medium hangar here opening up. And let's see, the the instancing for the hangar is going to be a little bit buggy. There we go, it's back. If you do take off, like from the player's perspective, if you're looking up, it looks like the doors will be open sometimes, or sometimes you'll actually see like closed doors. So you'll see like the doubled up doors. Sometimes you'll see that. And like I said, sometimes they'll be completely invisible. You'll take off and you'll hit that barrier that you can't see, that everybody else can see is closed on their screens, and you'll just blow up as a result. It happens also in the opposite way. Really annoying bug that happens also when you're trying to land. Love seeing the VTOLs here from this Spirit as it takes off. Very nice gear is already up before they leave the air shield, although late retraction on the VTOLs. Once you leave that air shield and you start gaining some speed, you really want to retract those VTOLs so it looks a little bit nicer. So we have a nice smooth takeoff. We had gear retraction right before they actually left the hangar. We had nice VTOL usage as well, although the VTOLs were late to actually retract back to the normal position before they went into full normal flight. So that'll be a 9 out of 10. Very, very solid, very good. Exactly what we'd like to see. All right, things seem to be calming down here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the cameras, and let's see what we find next. Okay, we have a medium hangar opening up, but we have somebody coming in to land, and we do indeed. We have a Cutlass Black on final approach. No VTOLs being activated quite yet. The Cutlass is probably one of the more difficult ships to use. Also, early gear activation there right before they come into the air shield. Remember, I like to see the activation of those gears after they enter the air shield, right before they touch down. A little bit of stair-step action, some keyboard cat action going on there, and then a decent touchdown. A little bit snappy, but decent enough. So we have no VTOL usage, we have early gear activation, and we have some keyboard catting. Hey, Wicklow Polaris on the way in. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's going to be a 6 out of 10 landing there. Could be a lot better, but definitely nice for sure. Okay, this Polaris is lagging a little bit, I think. Nope, nope, nope. It's just gliding in. It's just decoupling in. All right, gear right when he goes into the air shield. Like to see it. I do not hear the trademark whistles coming from this Polaris, so that tells me this Polaris is not engaging its VTOLs. So this would be a little bit of hesitation before they touch down. Are they using an auto land? They better not be using an auto land. Nope, they're not using an auto land. And a little bit uneven on that touchdown there. Got the back end hitting it just a little bit. Overall, very nice. I would like to see, though, the hesitation be cleaned up a little bit there, and I would like to see VTOLs there. So that is going to be 8 out of 10. We do have another extra large hangar opening up here, so somebody might be coming in for landing. I'm going to back away here in case it's something big. Don't want to get too much in the way. I'm just going to kind of take a quick step back here. Let's see what we've got. I see the shadow of what appears to be a Hercules, and I'm correct. A Hercules with its VTOLs already active. All right, I'll take it. Let's see if they pull their gear out after the... Nope, they pull the gear out early. That's a little bit disappointing. I do like the VTOL usage there on the Hercules, but I would like to see those gears come down right after they enter the air shield, because that would make it look a little bit more cinematic and a little bit nicer. Now we got some hesitation as they're trying to establish where they want to go here. And then let's see how they touch it down. Hercules, ooh, a little bit fast there. Some spinal compression there as they bring it down a little bit too fast there. So, love the VTOL usage, although early gear deployment, a lot of hesitation, and then of course a really rough touchdown. So I'm going to give them a 6 on that one. Could give them a 7, but I really, I think a 6 is going to be necessary because that rough touchdown takes a lot of points away. And look at this beautiful raft on the way out. A lot of people doing cargo hauling these days, and I love to see it. Love to see it, especially the raft. I think the raft is a fantastic cargo hauler. Really, really great ship. All right, let's see. Things are calming down here. Oh, no, we got one of the medium hangars opening up. No, it's actually closing. Never mind. Taking a look around here, see if there's anything going on. One thing I like about Lorville's hangars is very centralized. That strip of hangars you see in the center there, all that lined up right there, not the ones on my left there, but all this right here I'm going across is all player hangars, right? Anything else you see around in the area are all dummy hangars. One thing I would personally like to see CIG improve Lorville is you see those pads on the left over there. I would love to see those turned into actual side hangars for Lorville because I think side hangars personally are just superior. They're just better hangars overall. You get better views when you're taking off and landing. It just looks cooler when you watch players zoom out of those hangars rather than the vertical ones. The vertical ones are just kind of boring in my opinion. But yeah, the side hangars would be really, really nice for this place. It would just really spruce things up a little bit, especially if CIG decides to open more of those hangars you see on the left and right sides that are dummy hangars. They don't actually exist for players. It'd be really nice to see those be converted to side hangars. I think it would look really cool. All right, things are kind of calm here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the cameras, and let's see what we get next. Okay, we got a medium hangar open up here. Let's take a look at what's going on inside. Is it somebody coming or going? And it looks like we have somebody coming on in. So let's go ahead and get the camera tracked out a little bit there. Oh, here off to my left. And what do we have? A Cutlass coming in at high speed. Ooh, laggy Cutlass then. That rubber banding is usually indicative of the server stalling temporarily there, or the player themselves having a really, really low frame rate or having a poor connection. So this hesitation, unfortunately, ooh, careful, 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 careful. Watch the backside. Ooh, scraping the backside. A very common problem for a lot of players is they kind of mistake where they are in the world in relation to when they're coming into the hangar. So a lot of players kind of get into this mindset of that they are the center of the world as they come in. What that happens is, so they see the hangars opening and then they'll put them, so they see that they're kind of, okay, I feel like I'm a little bit like lined up in the center midsection of the hangar as I come into land. In reality, they have a whole lot of ship behind them that they forgot about, and you see stuff like that. You'll see them collide their back end with the hangar as they come in. Remember, if your ship's cockpit is all the way at the front, what's going to help you with your landings or takeoffs is to make sure that you are a little bit further ahead in your hangar as you come in and even as you leave. If you know that your cockpit, or you position your cockpit a little bit further into your hangar, a little bit to the other side, the far side that you can see, then you're going to guarantee that the backside of your ship is going to be clear as you take off or land. And what have we got here? We have a small hangar opening up. Do we have somebody leaving or taking off? And we have somebody taking off here. We have a Nomad in the Foundation Festival paint getting ready for takeoff here. Nomad, a very, very nice little small hauler. That bed in the back makes it a nice little truck, so you can kind of put stuff on there. And it also has that nice tractor beam that also works pretty well, so it's a really convenient ship for just moving stuff. I use it as like a little puddle jumper getting around, moving stuff between stations and ground locations and stuff like that. I don't really use it for real serious haulings. I have other ships for that, but other than that, the Nomad is very nice for just getting around and moving stuff that you need to. Ooh, getting ready for a bolter takeoff here, and away they go. Ooh, watch the hangar side there. Ooh, a little close there, a little close for comfort. Ugh, sorry, I'm trying to get you guys a better angle here. And the Golem is not very well known for having a good yaw, so it's a little bit tricky for me to get a good angle for you all. Yeah, so at least they pulled their gear out before they took off. They did a nice bolter there, although they got really close to the side of the hangar. There was some hesitation, though, as well. So overall, that would be about a 9 out of 10. Could be a little bit better because there was some of that hesitation that they could probably clean up. You know, they kind of waited a little bit long before they did their final rotation before they decided to head on out. So that's a nice takeoff overall. Okay, what do we got here? We have a Clipper with a nice camo paint taking off here. Now, the Clipper, I said earlier, has VTOLs. It doesn't, now that I recall my memory. Ooh, nice attritions, by the way. PV loadout on that one. The Clipper cannot cycle its configuration like the Corsair. It actually has to pull its gear up before its wings will fully extend, which means that you don't want to actually pull the gear out before you leave the hangar. So I'll give a pass on this Clipper. It's kind of weird. CIG just decided to design it that way. They decided to not let you cycle the configuration, so that way you can have the gear up, and then once you clear the hangar, you can then have the wings unfurl like the Corsair. So it's kind of Kind of a little bit weird that CIG decided to design it that way, but it is what it is. All right. Anyway, things seem to be calming down, just looking around to see if there's anybody around here. Nope, we're clear, so I'm going to go ahead and cut, and let's see what we get next. All right, what do we got here? We have a raft getting ready for takeoff here. VTOL's not being used. Gear is not coming up quite yet. So we have what appears to be late gear retraction. No VTOL usage, although very nice, smooth takeoff here. Let's see how they do. They got that pogo stick gear sticking out. There we go. There goes the rotation of the gear, and away they go. Late gear retraction, no VTOL usage, smooth takeoff, however. So I'm going to give them a 7. Could be a 6, but I'm really just going to give them a 7. It's all right. It could be better. I think they could do a lot better than that. You know, I've in the last episode, I was a little bit harsher on the takeoffs, you know, so that raft does qualify kind of for a 6, but I'm feeling a little bit generous today. You know, I'm feeling a little bit generous. Let me know in the comments what you guys think some of these players should get. Also, we have what appears to be a 315p here. Gear was out before they came down in, but looking good on their approach right before they touched down. Yeah, it looks good. I like that. That's a nice touchdown. Hesitation because they're waiting for that hangar to actually fully extend before they were comfortable setting down. And also we had early gear deployment before they went in. I can see that little yellow flap on the bottom open, telling me that that gear was actually extended a little bit early there. If you always are a little bit uncomfortable about landing because the actual hangar door is not quite fully extended, just go in an orbit, just fly around in a circle and just wait for the hangar doors to open. So that definitely can help you out there. I'm going to say that landing is going to be, I mean, it's really smooth and nice, but we did have that early gear deployment and again, that hesitation. So I would normally give it an 8 out of 10 because that's kind of really the criteria that fits there, but I'm feeling a little bit more like it's a 7 just because I feel like if they just gone into orbit and just kind of waited a little bit longer, that would have looked a lot nicer. So we'll go with a 7. All right, I'm just going to take a quick little peek out here and walk around. This is one of the things I love about Lorville is you can just kind of sit down here and it's not fully detailed. As you can see, there's kind of some weirdness when you get this close because, of course, the designers didn't intend for you to actually do any of this. At one point, this area all used to be off limits, and then CAG took it away, and I think it's great. I think it's great they took it away because you can just sit here and just hang out and you can see all the detritus and debris just strewn about. I think, again, that has to do probably potentially with the server having some hiccups here, and that kills some players as a result. But yeah, it's really cool. And you can see the actual scale as we sit here, right? You saw how I was flying around. These hangars look pretty small, but now that I'm sitting here, you can see the actual scale, the size of everything around us. Imagine how this is going to look when we actually get VR in our hands. This is going to be incredible. So we do have this medium hangar opening up here. And let's see who is going to take off from here or land. I'm just going to kind of position the camera here. And I hear a ship. Oh, do we have a landing coming in? I hear a ship coming in. Let's see what we get. I hope it's a landing. Yes, we get a land. Ooh, a Gladius with the Arctic paint. Early gear deployment there, but nice and smooth. A little bit fast there. There's probably going to be some spinal compression on that touchdown because that was a little bit faster than I would like there. Going through there. There goes the closure. Anyway, enough sightseeing. Let's go ahead and get back into the Golem. And let's get back to watching players from the sky. And we have a Paladin coming in for landing at the extra large hangar here, and the Paladin is not using its VTOLs, and its gear is already out before it goes through the air shield, which is a little disappointing. Although we do have some cool attritions here on this Paladin. Again, another wonderful PvE loadout, although on the Paladin, that loadout is also pretty darn good for dealing with multi-crew ships, even in PvP. And it's also very good for just dealing with just all types of multi-crews in general. So if you come across, say, for example, Constellation or something like that, that thing will eat its lunch. It absolutely would with attritions, assuming that Constellation itself does not have attritions. But yeah, that's a pretty nice loadout for that. Of course, you're not going to be dealing with fighters very well because those weapons ammunitions, those attrition ammunition speeds are very, very slow. But we had no VTOL deployment, early gear activation before they touched down. A little bit of that hesitation there, so I'm going to say that's probably about a 7 out of 10 on that touchdowns. Excuse me, I can English. And we have a cutter. Now, is this a cutter scout or rambler? I can never tell because I don't actually use the cutter very often. I don't have one. But away it goes with the gear up before they left the hangar. But if they have the door in the back open, I don't know why that made me laugh. It's just really funny to see the door in the back open as they leave. I feel like I should take points away for that. Do you guys think I should take points away for leaving doors open and stuff like that? Just looking kind of weird. Also, you can see that train that ferries people to the spaceport over there. Very cool. Let me know if I should take points away for people leaving their doors open there, right? That cutter, no VTOL usage. Nice gear retraction before they left the hangar. I do like seeing that, but they had the door open. And they're overall very, very smooth. I could say that's like a 9 or an 8. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that stuff. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's see this Titan as it comes in for landing. The veritable penguin. I mean, ooh, careful. Don't be too far back. Careful. Careful. Oh, they're going to potentially clip. And, yep. Oh, no. Yeah, so again, remember, your ship is going to be all the way in the front, so you got a lot of dunk in the back you got to take care of, so you got to make sure you squeeze all that into the hangar. So you want to make sure that your cockpit is actually a little bit closer to the forward end of the hangar. Ooh, a really rough touchdown there. So we had a contact with the hangar, and we always start with a 5 when we have a contact. We had early gear activation, and then, of course, we had that really rough touchdown. So that's going to be a 4 out of 10. I could even bring that down to a 3 for those other 2 violations, so to speak, that we're taking off for points. But I would say that's more of like a, yeah, you know what, we'll do that. We'll say it's a 3 because we took off 2 other things on there. So we'll say that's definitely a 3 out of 10. You could even go as low as a 2, but that's definitely just a 3. I mean, at least they touched down, right? As rough as it was. So we got medium hangar here. Cutlass is taking off. One in VTOL mode here. Let's see. Ooh, nice flare from that Cutlass. Although early gear activation, no actual VTOLs coming. Oh, no, a little bit of collision on the backside there. This seems to be a running theme today. Everybody kind of forgetting that their cockpit is in the front, way in front of the ship, and they got a lot of ship behind them they got to account for as they land. So everybody seems to just kind of be backing that thing up into the side of the hangar there. Unfortunate. So that would start from a 5. Early gear activation, no VTOL usage as well. So we could bring that down to like a 3 out of 10 there for sure. Let's see. This Cutlass is now powered on. Its VTOLs are now in the forward position, which happens when you first power on the Cutlass. And I see the pilot there looking at their Moby Glass. You got any games on that Moby Glass? Oh, looks like he does. So now he is taking off. Let's see what they do. Looks like they were trying to avoid the auto timeout on the hangar, so they just went ahead for it. Gear is still down as they take off, probably opening their Moby Glass and just resetting their route or something like that. Rotating and away they go. So no VTOL usage, no retraction in time, and a little bit of hesitation there. Just a slight amount of hesitation. So I will definitely say that's going to be probably about a 6 out of 10 takeoff there. And we have a really nice Starlancer TAC headed out. TAC, not exactly the greatest combat ship despite it being made for combat, but it kind of actually holds its own a little bit more now in engineering, although it is getting a bit of a nerf in engineering with 4.5 because of the ranges that CIG decided to revert back to. So the combat ranges used to sit at around, I think it was like 1 or 1.5 kilometers, and now they're back to about 3 kilometers. So a light fighter can cheese it. Now, the penetration data and weapon data does mean that the ship can survive a lot better, but it's still really, it still sucks. You're still going to cheese big ships with light fighters and stuff. It sucks. Anyway, let's move on. Ooh, adorable little Aurora taking off. You rarely see the Aurora these days, so this could very well be a brand new player dipping their toes into Star Citizen, or a returning player. You never know. Let's see. Their gear is down as they take off. But I do like how smooth they were on their takeoff. Very nice. Although, of course, they still have their gear down. They're probably like, why am I moving so slow? What's the gear button? Let me look at the hint there. It says hit N on my keyboard. There we go. And then away we go. Oh, no, I'm picking up speed. and off they go. The veritable combat cockroach, as I like to call it, for the Aurora. Getting a rework soon, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. It's probably not going to be a super, super crazy rework, but nonetheless, it is getting kind of that Mark II treatment, as far as I understand what CIG was saying. So that should be fun. Should be really cool to see that ship getting gussied up a little bit and being brought up to a higher quality standard. All right, things seem to be quiet here. Let's go ahead and cut the cameras and see what we find next. And we have a Cutlass on approach. VTOL's already active, which is interesting to see. You don't usually see VTOLs this early out. One of the detriments of using VTOLs on the Cutlass this early out is it actually has no more forward thrust. It's very, very slow on its forward and reverse thrust because those main engines are required for that. Also, early gear deployment as well from the Cutlass with that cool pirate livery there. Also, he has a gunner. Let's see how this Cutlass lands. Oh, careful, watch the backside. Are we going to get a repeat here? We may very well get a repeat here and have this Cutlass bonking on the backside of this hangar. Let's see. Yeah, I see the shadow getting closer. Your gunner is just rotating in place. That means your gunner is AFK. Your yep, there it is. You know, you have a gunner for a reason. Not only is your gunner supposed to protect your ship, but they also could be your spotter as well too. But looks like the gunner just decided to go take a pee break real quick, and we have what appears to be a collision on the back side of the hangar there as this Cutlass comes in. Look at all this hesitation as well. They're really trying to just ease it in and very, very hesitant. So, and let's see how they touch down. Let's see, is it nice and smooth? It's relatively smooth there. So I like seeing them use the VTOLs, although it might be that they were unaware that their VTOLs were even active for how slow they were going. Early gear deployment, and then of course contact with the hangar. So we always start with 5 with the contact from the hangar. So from that, we would say that's probably going to be about a 4 out of 5. I'm definitely going to give them a 4 because they were using VTOLs, right? So I got to give them that point back. But they did make contact, and it kind of ruined everything at that point. There's also that hesitation, so I could drop it to a 3, but I'm going to be generous and just say that's a 4. I like the fact that they use VTOLs at all, because most people forget that VTOLs even exist, let alone use them. All right, another Cutlass. Cutlasses seem to be very popular today. Let's see how things go here. Of course, no VTOLs being used. Like I said, a lot of people don't even realize the Cutlass has a VTOL, so they just never use them, or even think to use them, even if they know they exist. So let's see how this one takes off. Away they go. Now let's see. Nice and smooth so far. Looking good, looking good. Let's check out the gear. It looks like the gear might have... Nope, the gear is still down. Okay, there goes the gear. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit locked up there. Ooh, what do we got here? Oh, the Cutlass taking... Oh, so that, I think, is the pirate Cutlass here. It is the pirate Cutlass. So this might be the other Cutlass pilot. Looks like they may have repaired, refueled, and rearmed. And looks like they're getting ready to head back out again. VTOLs are in play, looking good. Let's see the gear. Gear is still down, although the gear is a little bit buggy on the Cutlass. CIG still haven't fixed the problem. If you don't rotate the VTOLs when you hit gear up, the gear will never come up until you rotate the VTOLs. It's just weird. They're just locked in place like that. So this gear is always perpetually going to be down for this pilot until they rotate their VTOLs. And there they go. See, they rotate the VTOLs and then the gear comes up. See, and now they can take off and move at full speed. It's just one of those weird things about the Cutlass that CIG have not fixed yet in quite a while, and that is that the VTOLs are, so for some reason, dependent on the gear. It's just very strange, that behavior, and it just hasn't been corrected in quite a while. So I'm just going to go ahead and just give away that takeoff and not rate it, just because it's mostly issue with the Cutlass in general. The Cutlass is a little bit buggy there. So that player was kind of struggling with that a little bit. So I'm going to let them go. Ooh, Asgard. We have an Asgard in VTOL mode. One thing I've always noticed from Asgard and Valkyrie owners is they really take a lot of pride in their takeoff and landings. I mean, what do you expect? They're dropship pilots at the end of the day, so they probably want to look really cool as they take off. Look at that, gear is already up well before they left that air shield. VTOLs, let's see how they rotate. Rotation and push off. Looking good. Beautiful. That is a solid 10 out of 10 takeoff. That's exactly what we're looking for here. And like I said, Valkyrie and Asgard owners just love, they take so much pride in their takeoff and landings, and I don't blame them. Beautiful ships, great sounding ships, and they also look fantastic when their VTOLs are actually rotated. All right, there's a storm rolling in, so I can't help but to go and kind of chase it a little bit. I love the actual storms that are on the planets. Of course, in 4.5, there's a big, massive upgrade, and visually how they look absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to play around with that when that comes to live. All right, I think this is going to be a good place to cap things off for today. Now, if you are someone who's curious about playing Star Citizen and getting into it, consider using my referral code down below in the description. You can use that to sign up for the game, and you'll get some goodies alongside that, including 50,000 credits, which can help get you better gear and equipment when you first start out. So if you did indeed enjoy this video, please leave a like, as it really does help out the channel. And of course, if you want to watch more videos like this and much more down the line, be sure to subscribe as well and hit that bell icon so you get notified when my videos go live. If you want to go a little bit above and beyond supporting the work that I do here on the channel, consider becoming a channel member like these fine folks right here, whose contributions help me out immensely when it comes to putting these videos together, and they get little perks here and there, such as early access to these videos before they go live on the channel. But until next time, fly safe, because you never know who might be watching, and I'll see you all in the black.